Now, if you're sitting here right now and you're thinking, I don't have any idea what religious pluralism is, a good guess would help us. So take some time, write down what you would say your definition of religious pluralism is, and how does it relate to Martin Luther King? Anyone need a pen or a pencil? Yes?
They started discriminating one another for something they had ignored before.
Okay. All right, Carol?
They started treating one another differently.
They started treating someone differently. Did they have permission from the teacher to do so?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not hitting and punching, but she was encouraging. You notice in the class, as she was teaching, she was making sure that they understood that there was a difference. Did you notice that? Yes.
The teacher repeatedly said that they weren't as good or not as smart. So I think by the end of the day, all the brown-eyed kids thought that they weren't as smart or as good as all the blue-eyed kids.
Yes.
I think that's just a matter of the common characteristics you find between people. Because I feel that I find more common things between Korean students because we grew up in the same environment, similar environments.
What's your reaction if an adult says, hey, you guys shouldn't sit together? Is that, how does that feel?
Well,
Does that happen, first of all?
no.
People, so they allow for that it's a possibility that you can go and sit with boys from Seoul and you don't have to sit with boys from Monterey?
Well, yeah, that hasn't happened yet, but I think there's a possibility that the teacher might offer that.
Why don't the guy who just spoke, Josh, why don't you choose the next speaker?
Well, I think like Josh is saying, ethnic groups kind of come together to an area. You can see this in history, even in cities like Little Chinatown, Little Italy or something like that. So like when Josh is saying he connects more with Korean students from Seoul than he does with people from Monterey, it just makes sense. But then there are people that want to make themselves more diverse and will go like, if Ben were to go sit with Josh and a whole bunch of other Koreans, or Brian were to go sit with a whole bunch of Mexicans, I mean, yeah, you gotta kind of push yourself out.
Well, I think that at buffets, if they were to try to separate these students, it would be unfair to them because it's not like they're just sitting with each other because of their race. They sit with the kids because they can relate to them the most. They feel the most safe, and they like them the best. No, not like them the best, but they can relate to them, and they're their friends. I mean,
Yeah,
you'd be saying you can't sit with your friends. They're just finding common ground. It's like, I'll sit with other American students, and the Korean kids will sit with Korean kids. I mean, it's gonna be that way if you let them. Some kids will want to put themselves out there, like you said, but most kids are gonna want to sit with kids that they have the most common ground
Yeah,
with.
they feel most.
Does class equal privilege?
Yeah.
Yes, but not all.
What kind of privileges do you get? If you're in upper class, what
We
kind
have
of
money.
privilege?
Better school.
You have money. So what does that get you though? What does money
Your
get you?
education.
It gets your living style.
It gets you respect. Interesting.
Better schools.
Better schools. What else?
More opportunities,
More opportunities. What kind of opportunities?
like let's say coming to karting, you just have more chance to like
Experience.
try sports or.
Right. There's another kind of opportunity to get. Do you guys know what it is? Do any of your parents belong to any groups or clubs or anything like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, like legacy.
With people who are similar to them, right?
Yeah.
So what happens then? What
You have-
happens
you
if
have
they know somebody,
connections.
say you're interested in being a biologist,
Yeah.
and somebody in your family knows somebody who's already working at a
Connections.
networking, connections. So that's another privilege you get. Just by virtue of being in that family, you have connections.
This is almost exactly 1 year before Dr. King was assassinated. But one of the things he said just then was, now even though you got to remember the United States military had been integrated for almost 20 years at this point, integrated. So everyone fought together. But he's saying, what's he saying about the military and about the fact that it's integrated? We've gone from a segregated society and a segregated military to an integrated military. But what did he say about society? He just had a really good quote in there about the soldiers that are fighting together. What would happen when they came home?
They'll be segregated.
What's that, Michael?
That'll be segregated.
To an extent, yeah, Gavin?
They'd be segregated, yeah.
Regardless of the fact that they are fighting and dying together for the nation, that nation is not extending them the opportunity to live together or to have any kind of integration in society when they get back.
Look around. If 3 people next to you wrote Ted, don't write Ted. Think of something else. Try to think of something no one else has done. 2. Movies, TV shows. You can do 3 if you want. Everybody does it. You're allowed to get help spelling from someone next to you. There's no wrong answers. We just want to know what shows you like.
These were like generally like how they thought of like women.
The last part was when Heidi Klum was thought to be like this. She was forced to be this like untouched model and stuff like that. Like how they wanted her to be that way. That's like the stereotype.
I actually came out when I was 15, and it was after I discovered the term gay in a Teen People article of all places. This was before the internet really became a really searchable place, or that was really user-friendly at that point. I was fairly young, didn't really have internet at home yet. But I found this term, and I sort of mulled around with it for a few months, trying to figure out exactly how that fit with how I was feeling.
I might say those are, wouldn't you say happiness and sadness are sometimes results of darkness and not necessarily darkness itself? That makes sense? I mean, we're looking at it kind of simply, aren't we?
It's like the outcome after darkness is gone.
Yeah.
When we talk about that creed of all people being created equal, when you come back to it, I want you to hopefully remember that's not how it was, but it's certainly how they wanted it to be. They're framing it for the future, not for the current debate at the time.
Okay, 3 main things that I want to point out about this definition of immigration. You have a person born in another country, their native country, coming to a new country with the intentions to live there, establish a residency there permanently. Now we're going to go over some of the factors that push people away from their country. So what are some of the reasons that somebody might be inclined to leave a country?
Like economic downfall and maybe natural disasters.
Good.
Social or religious persecutions.
A war. What?
Loss of the job.
Loss of a job, unemployment. Did you have another one?
No.
Good.
Erase that.
Alright, when it comes to mine. So you guys got a lot of them. War, famine, natural disaster, unemployment, like you guys said, persecution, economic hardship, lack of opportunity, poor education, an important one, and civil unrest. So just as we have things that are pushing people away from their countries, we also have things that pull people towards a country. So what are some of those factors? Yes.
New job opportunities.
New job opportunities.
Just like a better life in general, like for the immigrants coming to America during like Reconstruction and stuff like that, they saw better opportunity, like for their family.
Religious freedom. Religious freedom.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Safer environment.
Safer environments.
Like cheaper land to live on.
Good.
Better laboring conditions.
Good.
Better education.
Context, you will quietly and carefully go find Luke, Mr. Lawrence. Stop this. You will go find a space where you can hang your 3 cards. Now, you do not have to put your name on these cards. You can be totally anonymous. If you want to claim, because there's a very good chance, Sage, that someone will read your card. I've already read about 10 cards. They're all over the place from like, I want to have a dog, I aspire to have a dog someday, to like, I want to be the best athlete I possibly can be a card. From Ashley Kaishu, from Japan or somewhere else that's a different language. If you want to write it in Spanish or in Japanese, you can. Or Korean.
You can always stop a war. You can't
stop them moving.
That's a great idea. Thinking about the difference between words, strong messages, right? That idea of action speaking louder than words is sometimes not necessarily always true. Sometimes the words allow people to make change in a greater way. Andrew?
I just want to like what in his career he I think showed what Martin Luther King was driving to show the people. So Gandhi was I think he's an example of Martin Luther King, or he may be the one that showed Martin Luther King what it is like to show peace, to overcome what is bad. And
he really lived that essence of non-violence.
Notice anything about the people watching or listening on the radio? The people, not the people in the fight, but the actual sort of spectators, people listening in on the radio. Buzz.
Actually, they're sitting around the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, the little kid was actually trying to act out.
Just pretend in the box. Yeah, so people were really into it. What else did you notice?
There's white people and black people listening to it.
Absolutely, yeah. So white people and black people. They were all Americans, and for that period of time, during that fight, it didn't really matter that Joe Louis was black. All that mattered was that he was an American fighting against this German. Okay? So that was a situation where people kind of were able to forget about race a little bit.